tooling. Uh, I carry a slime air pump. It does the job. Nothing too crazy. It works. It airs my tires up. I do want to make one adjustment. I've got one of them SAE battery tender plugs mounted to my bike. I'm going to probably wire one for a plug adapter for my pump, so I don't have to try to pull the seat off and all that extra bullshit. That's, for me, that's an essential when I'm on any ride, unless I'm in town. But if I'm going somewhere, air pumps with me. Spare tubes. I carry a front and a rear. I'm using the Tusk roll tool bag. And that's going to vary by what you have for a bike. What I take might not work for your bike. You might have a GS. You might, who knows what you're riding. Each toolkit's got to be built out to your bike. These are great little bags. I found these on Amazon. Tycon. 3-bag kit. Very durable. Decent zippers. So this bag, I carry a roll of some duct tape. I use the Gorilla Tape. Stuff's pretty strong. There's a few extra miscellaneous straps. If you haven't seen rock straps, these things are awesome. Here's another rock strap. So they don't have hooks. They got loops. So you feed this around your frame or rack, run the strap back through the loop. It's not going nowhere. Not like a hook on a bungee cord that can slip off or bounce. But what makes the rock strap a little different, it's still elastic. So you don't have to worry about things loosening up like a traditional strap. Bags shift around and straps can get loose. These do a much better job. Highly recommend rock straps, ROK straps. You can find them on Amazon, Rocky Mountain ATV. They got a great site. Let's see. Essentials. I usually carry some of this self-fusing silicone tape. You never know, someone might have a pinhole in a radiator hose and you got to patch something together. So my gray bag here, it's an essential bag. It goes on every adventure. So I recently installed a new tire on the back of my KLR. I went with a Tusk 2-track Adventure. And everyone said, yeah, it's a tight tire. It's tough, hard, blah, blah, blah. So they were not lying. So this bag has most of the pieces in here for my Baja no pinch tools. It does help putting that tire on. Then I carry Motion Pro, the Bead Buddy. That is a must on these stiff wall tires. Some rim protectors. And then I carry some extra tubes for the axles in case I'm helping somebody else. Valve stem, core. These are rim protectors, so you can slide on your rim so you don't gouge them with your tire bars. Definitely, for me, it's an essential. This little thing here, since these tires are so damn stiff, I've got a long set of Motion Pro tire irons with bead breaker. And this black piece goes with my no pinch tool for ratcheting the tire back on. I don't know if I'm man enough to change that tire with short spoons. Pray I don't ever have to find out. The goofy cardboard box, that's just there to helps keep this from poking through my bags. And then for the time being, I put one of my leather gloves on the other end. It's amazing how fast something like that can rub a hole into a bag. Little precaution. And depending on the bags, these may not fit. They're pretty, I think they're about 13 to 14 inches long. For me, it's an essential. This bag, I don't have anything in it yet. Baby powder for tire tubes for doing tire work. I always keep a stocking cap in a bag. Often I might have two with me, but at least one. I don't know what to call this thing, baklava or something. It's got a drawstring on one end. I like this. Most of the time, especially in this cooler weather, this thing's pulled down pretty low around my neck because when it gets cold, then you can always pull it up, cover your mouth, pull it up over your head. Yeah, another stocking cap of sorts. Highly recommend. For me, that's an essential, especially in the spring and fall. Maybe the summer, just depending, but it does not weigh much, doesn't take up much space. So very handy. Gets miserable if you're like me, where I'm at. Most of the trails I go to are at least 50 miles away. Quite often I might travel 200-300 miles to get to my destination to go play. And if it's a cold morning, a wet morning, rainy morning, it gets pretty chilly under that helmet. Another option, and this may or may not fit under your helmet. My helmet's too tight. I do like this. It's warm. Again, like I said, it's going to depend on your helmet. I can fit it under my normal helmet I use, but it's also nice at night. Sleeping, a lot of times when I'm sleeping, it might be anywhere from 0 degrees Fahrenheit to 40 degrees. And it's really a bad habit to cover your head in your sleeping bag. You get your head down in there, the breath, your condensation can soak into your sleeping bag. A lot of times that can help compromise how warm it's going to be. And then who wants to roll over on a wet sleeping bag, have their face on? Great for sleeping. Is this one essential? No, it's not for me. Back to food for a moment. Here's another. This one I usually don't take moto camping. It's another bear-proof container. It threads down and has little nubs that locks in place. These are indestructible, I think. The lock on it quite often it's pretty stiff. A lot of times you have to use a pocket knife to kind of pry it open a little bit to get it unlocked. But you can pack a lot of food in one of these. And what I like about my Ursack, as my food depletes, it gets smaller. This is always the same size in my bag. So hence why I bought that Ursack. Sleeping pad. I was never a believer in sleeping pads. I didn't fold this one up properly. When I fold it correctly, it's only about this tall. It's amazing. It's the Climate Static V, non-insulated, very low weight. But I could not believe the quality of sleep improvement it made. Just outstanding. Liked it so much. The insulated Static V went on sale at Shields here. So I think there's a new model coming out. I think I picked it up for $100. And I think last year when I bought this, I think it was like $140. Used it once so far. I think I'm impressed. It deflated on me, but I found the cap wasn't quite locked on, so I think the cap came off during the night. But comfort, a little extra warmth. If you haven't tried a sleeping pad, I recommend trying one or borrowing the buddies and see if you like it. For me, it was a game changer. Will I take both? Absolutely not. But one or the other. Diet Pepsi. Now, this is not an essential piece of kit here, but I also have a Palmolive teepee tent, hot tent. So this is a wood stove, and I recently used my teepee tent. It's pretty big, and I think the tent itself is, I don't know, 13 pounds. Pretty heavy in this world. But this is a collapsible folding wood stove. And this time of year, it can be wet, it can be cold, it can be nasty. If I'm doing a ride and I'm going to set up a base camp and be there for 2 or 3 days, I like my teepee setup. I forget the dimensions, but it's about 8 feet across at the base. I can stand up. I don't have to bend over to walk through the doorway. I get my wood stove set up in the chimney. The chimney's a pain in the ass, but wow, it's nice. Getting to a nice warm tent. Granted, this is a small stove. It's the Palmolive T0.6. It's all titanium. I think the whole stove weighs 5 pounds. It's not one of they have some bigger ones. And what I found, fire will burn up to about 2 hours. But to really keep it putting out a lot of heat, it seems like I'm feeding it every hour and 20 minutes. So, just food for thought. But when I took it out, I had my tent set up, a rock strap running across as a clothes hanger. I was able to hang my pants and socks, and everything was dry. That's a game. It sucks putting on wet socks or pants, you know. You know how it is. So is this an essential? No, but sometimes them creature features are nice to have at camp. Moving on to some tent options. I can show you my teepee tent, but it's kind of all stretched out, still drying. The bag, it's big. It's about yay big. You can spend as much as you want or as little as you want when it comes to doing this moto camping. This bag tent here, it's an Eagle Camp. I think I bought it at like Walmart or Shopko. No, I've had this thing, I bet, 15 years. Not too heavy. Just remember, cheaper the tent, heavier the materials. I guess this is probably 7 pounds-ish. If you start tent shopping, there's hundreds and hundreds of different options. And the couple things I would recommend. If you buy a tent, look for a tent that has a full coverage rainfly. Not a tent that is partial coverage or one of them beanie caps on top. You get into some rain and some side wind, and those partial coverage rainflies don't do you much justice. Look for a full rainfly. With most tents, if it's a beautiful night, you can leave the rainfly off. The other thing to look for is what they call bathtub floor. So the floor actually is like a bathtub. It comes up a couple inches around each side. Versus some tents will have a seam at the base wrapping around. It's just another moisture wicking point. So bathtub floors are are pretty good. This tent's been on, I can't tell you how many trips. It's just a 2-person, and I say that loosely. 2 people in a 2-person tent, you're brushing shoulders, and maybe that's okay sometimes. Depends who you're with. But I find a 2-person tent is very comfortable if I'm by myself. So I've got enough room. I can get some of my gear set up and laid out. And I don't have it sitting outside or hanging in a tree. Years ago, we had a backpack just hanging on a tree. Came out next morning, found a squirrel had ate it through the waist strap. Really kind of expensive, sucked. But anywho, I bet I didn't pay $39 for this tent. And it's got miles of smiles with this tent. Great option. This tent, I don't know if yeah, this is a Slumberjack, the Daybreak 3. This is a 3-person tent. I really like this tent. But again, a little bigger, a little heavier, and it's probably all of 8-9 pounds. A lot of smiles and miles with this one too. Would I take this one moto camping? Probably not, unless I had someone else was coming and wanted to be in it, like my wife or somebody. I don't use it as much as I thought I would. I've had this about 7-8 years, I suppose, and it's probably got 30 adventures with it. Good tent, good coverage, never had an issue. Well, I did break I got a pole I need to replace that supports part of the awning for the vestibule. Again, not a high dollar tent. I think I probably bought this originally for around $100. But Slumberjack makes good quality stuff at a reasonable price. My newest addition is my Mountain Hardware tent. Check that out. Look how short the poles are. This is a 2-person, ultra lightweight. And if I remember right, I think the weight is like 2 pounds, 4 ounces. That's kind of a game changer in my tent world. Yeah, highly recommend, I think. Time will tell. If you watch more of my videos throughout this summer, you'll get to see this tent in action. It'll be my go-to moto camping tent. But again, you start looking for lightweight stuff, price goes up dramatically. This tent was just over $400 versus my cheaper tents. But again, this 2-person versus a Walmart 2-person, huge difference. Quarter the weight, third of the size. I'm looking forward to breaking that in. I probably won't go through this bag. This is kind of another sleeping option. Hammock, little bit, 1-person bivvy cover. Yeah. But again, look at the size. This is going to be my go-to thing. I was excited to get this. This is a Nature Hike cot. 5 pounds. Sits about 4 inches off the ground. Weighs about 5.5 pounds, 5. You got to clip all the legs together. And my idea mainly was this will go with my hot tent. So with the wood stove burning, the wood stove sits about 4 inches off the ground. That heat radiates upward. So sleeping on the ground next to the wood stove kind of helped. But boy, getting up just a little bit higher, I could feel more of the heat coming off my stove. I will never buy another nature hike product for the rest of my life. Um, Put it together and sat down on it. One of the leg support, the plastic mount for the foot, broke. Uh, this thing is rated, I believe they said for 380 pounds. And all I did was kneel down and sit on the damn thing. I reached out to their customer support through their email help link. Oh, no reply. I did buy it through Amazon. I have not left a review, but I have requested I'll be sending this one back tomorrow through Amazon. I'll have them send me one more. I'm going to see, we'll see what the second one does. If it can allow me to sit on it without breaking something, I'll be happy. Not very expensive. I think it was $63 on Amazon. Again, is this a necessity? No. It is a creature feature. And I was impressed with how comfortable it was. I still used it. I just ended up putting that broken foot more in the middle. We'll see. Oh,